Now, very first story, the University of Science, Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology has been shut down indefinitely following a demonstration and destruction of school property Monday afternoon. The students broke glass doors and windows leading to some lecture halls, while vehicles parked on campus were destroyed. As many as 30 vehicles are said to have been destroyed. Now, Love affirms Erastus Asare Donko witnessed the demonstration and joins us live. Good evening to you, Erastus. Now, you tell us this thing has been going on for most of the day, and it has culminated in the decision by the Regional Security Council to shut down the university. What is the situation on campus right now?
Well, the campus of the Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology is like a cemetery, I must say. All students are locked up inside their various halls of residence. Just about 30 minutes ago, you could not see any student at all on campus, just people using the university routes for private purposes. And we have a contingent of armed police and military personnel who are enforcing this particular directive. So at the main entrance of the university, you find a police military pickup parked over there with armed military men inside. And we also have armed military patrols going on. We have armed police patrols both on motorbikes and on foot as well. And then we have snap checks mounted along the various streets of campus. And so as vehicles go in and out, they are checked and asked questions before they are able to get to their destination. So currently, as we speak, all students are in their various halls. Just few of them we spotted standing in front of the various halls of residence. But when they see you, they enter the premises. So that is the situation now on campus.
Right, Erastus, I want you to walk us through the day, because this whole thing actually started with a planned boycott of lectures by the students on the campus. So at what point did it degenerate into this?
Well, so the students communicated they were going to boycott lectures, and they were asking all the students to join them in this particular peaceful march, they called it. And so we were all expecting just a peaceful march through the principal streets of the Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology. But then when they started, it was a peaceful march indeed. They started, some started from the Continental Hall, some also started from the University Hall, Katanga, moving towards the Great Hall. So we were following those from the Katanga Hall. And then at a point, they branched. At Great Hall, they branched towards the KNUST roundabout. Just in front of the administration, they gathered and they started throwing stones at the building and breaking louver blades. Then they
reception, and then went over to the other end of the building, and then there were some vehicles parked over there, including those of the administrators, the registrar and deputy registrars and all that. They smashed the windscreen of all those vehicles. It was then at this point that we saw the policemen, who were then watching them from afar, come in and stop them and ask them to move away. But then they had destroyed many items. Whilst they were doing that, a section of them were also parading the streets of the university, also doing their own thing. Some from the university halls, some from the continental area, also doing their own thing over there. So when you go to the Dean of Students office, the place was vandalized. The office's printers, computers, laptops were stolen, and other items. When you get to the streets, you could see refuse scattered all over, and then the Dean of Students vehicle that was set ablaze, also sitting at the faculty area. So that's what we witnessed today.
All right, Erastus, I'd like to come to you in a bit for you to get us to understand how this came about, because there's apparently an origin, I mean, there's a genesis to all of this, which has to do with the students' misunderstanding or misunderstanding between the students and the school authorities. So we'll be coming to that, but let's listen to the Ashanti Regional Minister who announced the closure of the school in the last few hours.
Now, if a vehicle wants to enter the school through that gate, it will be difficult for the security people to provide protection or stop the person. Having seen all these things, the Regional Security Council decided to meet with the Vice Chancellor and his team. Now we've taken a decision, considering the extent of damage and destruction to most of the security gadgets on campus. It will be very risky for us to have the students to be here continuously. Because of that, the decision that has been taken by the Regional Security Council that today, from 6 p.m. to 6 a.m. tomorrow morning, we've imposed a curfew on campus. So nobody is going to enter or go out after 6 p.m. All students must be in their halls of residence, in their rooms, from 6 p.m. up to 6 a.m. tomorrow morning. After that, between 6 a.m. and 12 noon, every student must vacate the campus, including student leaders, the leadership of the students. The only people that will be permitted to stay here in their hall of residence, and we are going to provide only one, is foreign students. And we are going to provide protection for them. Then tomorrow we will consult the National Security Council. We have discussions with them, and then with Ministry of Education. Then we will agree on a tentative date that the school will be reopened after most of the things that they destroyed have been put in shape. We need to ensure that some of the security gadgets that have been destroyed, we can replace them, or those that we can maintain, we maintain.
So that was Ashanti Regional Minister. We also have heard from the NUGS president. Let's listen to what he has to say.
This way. Tomorrow, the National Union of Ghana students may not promise. And come tomorrow, we are doing a press conference, live press conference, from which we will go to His Excellency the President, the Flagstaff House, and the Minister of Education, that if measures are not taken to put the Vice Chancellor of the university to order, if measures are not taken to make sure that if this had happened in any serious civilized country, believe me, one, the Dean of Students would have resigned. Yes, because he has failed. Number two, the head of security should have been resigned by now.
Right, let's go back to Erastus Asare Donkor. Now, Erastus, I'd want you to explain to us how this all started.
Well, so let me take it down. It started with, the thinking of the various halls from the Continental Hall and the Hall from single sex.
From single sex into mixed hall. That is what started this whole thing. And so one event led to the other. We understand from the students that the various hall executives who were elected were prevented from holding their positions, and in turn they asked some students to stand in their stead, and this did not go down well with the students. Again, there are certain traditions that go on where they go on certain processions. They actually do what they call morale. They sing, they jam, and all that, drum. So they had some, exchanges between the students, which resulted in some of them being arrested, and they claimed they were beaten by the local security men. And so they kept coming up with release upon release to the authorities that how they were treating some of their students, they did not like it. And then just yesterday, they also talked about one of the students who were beaten and hospitalized. So they asked the university authorities to do something about it. It did not happen, and so they set a date, that is today, to demonstrate. The university also came up to say that, well, lectures is compulsory, and so the students should not stay away from lectures. And that is what some of the students are saying infuriated them so much to embark on this demonstration in a massive manner. So that is the road. There's been some attacks on students. They have reported it. Some inhuman treatment, they say, happened between the local security and the students, and they have reported it severally to the university authorities. Nothing has been done, and that is why they are taking this action.
Now, Erastus, have you spoken with any of the SRC leaders since the closure or the decision to shut down the school?
Exactly. We spoke with some student leaders today, and they are telling us that if this is to be resolved, then they will have to restore the traditions that exist at the various halls. They should allow the elected executives to go back to their positions and hold it. The Vice Chancellor himself should bring certain things down and desist from being dictatorial, as they put it, in the way he's handling the administration, and give the students the leeway to do their things. And that is what they were saying, that the protest will continue and unabated until government steps in to put the Vice Chancellor in his position, as they put it.
Now, Erastus, I understand that the university is a community. If the curfew has been imposed, it means that everybody else who's on the university campus, including the lecturers and their families, will be affected. Is that the case?
Well, that is supposed to be the case, but I think there are exemptions because we were asked to leave campus because, according to the commander who was leading the curfew team, we were included in the curfew. RESEC has put a curfew on the university, and that includes us, the news team, so we should leave. Other people who were using the community, the university community, as a thoroughfare were allowed to go, but they were asked to open their booths. They were asked questions. They were questioned before they were allowed to leave the precincts of the university. And so that is what is happening at the moment. People are being allowed to use the university community as a thoroughfare, but they are subjected to some scrutiny before allowed to go.
Now, we would be speaking in a bit to George Wire, representative of the KNUST alumni, but one of the things that has come up is the accusation that the alumni of the university were actually behind this demonstration on the campus of the university today. How credible are those reports?
Well, when we spoke with the NUGS national president, he told us that they will hold a press conference tomorrow. The alumni of the university is supposed to join them tomorrow, and they are supposed to hold a press conference together. And going forward, they are bringing the alumni to engage further in a protest to press home their demands. And so it was not clear whether the alumni was part of this or behind this particular demonstration. But what I have also heard some students say is that a number of these the people who demonstrated today are not really students from the university. Some of them may be past students, or some of them may have been contracted from outside. That is what I'm hearing, but there's no confirmation or otherwise to that effect.
All right. Erastus, fortunately, we have on the line now George Wayo. He's a lawyer for the students' body, and he joins us live. Good evening to you. Okay, we apparently lost George Wayo on the line. I will try and reach him again and get him back onto the line. But Erastus, I also want you to tell us about the extent of destruction. We're told that, what, about 30 vehicles have been destroyed on the campus of the university?
Well, that will not be far from the truth. In fact, myself, I counted 15 of the vehicles with their windscreens smashed. That is on one car park. There were other vehicles that had their windscreens smashed, about 10 of them in front of the administration as well. The Dean of Students vehicle, which was set ablaze, was also parked at the faculty area. There was another vehicle that was sitting in front of the Continental Hall, a saloon vehicle, which has also its windscreen smashed. So if I put all that together, yes, it will be around that figure of 30. But now, there were other motorbikes belonging to the local security destroyed as well.
All right, we have George Wayo back on the line now. George Wayo is a lawyer and he represents the alumni of KNUST. Good evening to you. You have been accused, or the alumni has been accused of being behind the protest and distraction to property on the campus of the university today. How do you respond to that?
Thank you very much, Israel, and good evening to your cherished viewers. Let me just set the record straight. I am the lawyer for Unity Hall and an alumna of Unity Hall, not the entire KNST student body.
To these claims or allegations by the university authorities that the alumni is actually behind this demonstration and the distraction to property?
Yeah, thank you very much. I think Ghana can now see that the authorities at the KNUST is basically doing many things untoward and very unfamous. And the PRO, Mr. Yeboah Jr., since the inception of the intention to convert Unity Hall and Katanga Hall into Mixed Hall, has been saying different stuff. You can see today, there was no alumni on campus. There was no alumni on campus. Hello?
Well, the students, some of the students are indicating that some of the people they saw on campus actually are not students.
No, the point is that KNST runs the in, out. First year, you come into the hall. Second year, third year, final year, you leave and you go outside campus. So if they are seeing faces, some of these freshers, the first years who are on campus, they don't know some of these third years. They don't know some of these final years. They don't know some of these second years. Unless maybe they are their course mates and they will meet at their lecture premises or environment. But until then, you'll be in Unity Hall first year, you'll be in Africa Hall first year, and an Africa Hall lady who is in third year, who left the hall, if she comes to the hall today, she will be like a stranger to you. But the point is that all the students who you saw today on the KNST campus, the 22nd of October, Israel, I'm telling you, are students who are regular students. No alumni is there. I'm speaking to you in Accra.
All right, Mr. Wayo, what do you make of the distraction to property on the university campus by these students?
Thank you very much. I think this is the second time multimedia is asking me, even asked me and it asked me, and I wouldn't want to push for me to be looked by Ghanaians and my colleague citizens as the bar. But we are not here, Unity Hall. And I know my brothers in Katanga will stand with me. We are not here to confirm or deny or say we dislike or we like what has happened. We are not here to go there. That is not our subject to take. It is Obidansu's subject to take. It is his cup of tea. What has happened there, whether properties have been destroyed, it is not our business as alumni who are in court. His own infamous decision. He decided to make halls that were set especially as male halls. Unity Hall was especially set up as a male hall. He wants to gain glory and go and sit home as an old man and be proud that he changed things in KNUST. These are the spillovers. The students have their Friday morale. They call it Jama. They want to do their own morale. University stress, lectures and all that. I mean, Monday to Friday, a whole lot of lecture up and down. Friday, these guys get together and then we give ourselves morale and then we keep the stress at bay and we go through the 4 years scheme. These are part of university life.
Mr. Wayo, Mr. Wayo, are you by this suggesting or indicating that the university authorities brought this upon themselves and that they deserve it?
Oh, please, Israel. The Bible says there's nothing new on earth. You are a Christian. Check the biblical records. All leaders who suppress their subject, they bring their own interests upon themselves. He has brought it upon himself. Let him face the music and dance to it. We are not here to condemn or confirm. We have not said what they did is good to destroy property. That is not our case. That is up to the university to decide for themselves. But we are saying that if university students are trying to go and have their own little morale, Jama, just to take off the stress and your security apparatus, they take salary for no work done. That is when they can go and show the students that they are KNST and beat them and kill them. And now the students say that they are tired of it. Today in KNST campus, 10 o'clock, every student must go and sleep. Every student must go and sleep. 10 o'clock. Since when did that begin? When they were students, obedience, so when they were students, in their time, one in a room, they can go on demonstration only for not getting chicken from the government of Ghana. What did they do in the 1960s and 70s and 80s? What did they do? And today, some of the people are just raising their morale, and you go and beat them. Somebody stand. If the guy they beat was Obedience stand, will he be clapping his hands and laughing? Please.
Mr. Why? Yeah.
I'm not here to say we are condemning or we are applauding. We don't care whatever has happened there is to be condemned or applaud. We are saying that Obidansu's infamous nature on Kennedy campus, he has visited it upon himself.
Granted, yes, Mr. Wai, what's next?
Come again?
What's next for you, the alumni?
We are still in court battling our whole conviction. So that one is still substantive. And Israel, if you can permit me just one more, and I know this will throw another angle to the matter, but the judiciary of this country can also be held responsible for what has happened on Kennedy campus. And I speak as a lawyer who belongs to the judiciary. And even just 1 minute again on your wonderful network, we go to court for an injunction stopping the university from sending females into the hall because that's the substantive matter. So that matter must be determined by the court of law after a trial, a proper trial. The court decided to throw our injunction away, thereby giving a green light for the university to send females into the hall. Do you know what they have done, Israel? They have indirectly converted the hall. So what that judge did that day, he didn't know that these are some of the peripherals. So that judge, who is the judiciary, and I'm saying it once again on Joy FM, that the judiciary disappointed KNUST and led them onto this path. Because in the court,
Mr. Wai, you're a lawyer, and you don't expect all cases to go in your favor.
No, but Israel, when a case like an interlocutory injunction application, which have stated legal principle, that if one party will suffer great harm and danger, and incalculable loss or irreparable loss, Unity Hall was in court, the substantive matter, fighting for the convention. They bring an injunction, you deny it as a court, and indirectly gives the other part the green light to fulfill what they are looking for under the substantive matter. You have already ended the matter. Right now, that the court granted, the court dismissed the injunction and gave the invested authority to send emails in. They have converted the whole. What happens to the substantive suit? So the point is that, from my point of view as a lawyer and also a member of the judiciary, I'm saying on Joy FM that the judiciary, this country, should also be held accountable for the unrest on Kennedy campus for a wrong judicial interpretation of an interlocutory application that has landed at this point.
All right, thank you very much, George Wayo. And George Wayo is a lawyer and he represents Unity Hall. He's been speaking on behalf of the alumni. Now, I still have with me Erastus Cesare Donko. Erastus, before we go, what was the situation as far as the number of officers and security officers who were on campus at the time you were leaving?
Well, we have quite a number of them at the moment who are ensuring that the curfew takes effect. We could count quite a number of armed police and armed military personnel who are maintaining order at the moment. The university is expecting that by tomorrow noon, all students who are Ghanaians and live within Ghana might have left the campus, and that's the directive. It's only the foreign students who are allowed to stay for longer. So that's the directive, that all students must leave before 12 noon tomorrow. So that will be the enforcement going forward.
All right. Thank you very much, Erastus Cesare Donko, bringing us updates from Kumasi, the Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology, where that school at the university has been shut down following massive riots and destruction to property that took place there following student riots. You're watching Joy News Prime. We're taking a break. The receiver of the defunct UT Bank, Eric Nana Nipe, has fought off claims the bank is colluding with businessman Alfred Boyome. Deputy Attorney General Godfred Yeboah Dami had alleged the receiver is frustrating government's quest to satisfy 51.2 million cedis that owed the state by claiming ownership of residential facilities it has earmarked for sale. The Deputy AG on Monday cross-examined the receiver for the defunct UT Bank as part of measures to convince the court to allow the state to sell the properties. There's more in the following report.
Proceedings on Monday started with counsel for the defunct UT Bank, Akwaku Jr., accusing the deputy AG of breaching the ethics of the legal profession by whipping up public interest in a manner that affects integrity of the receiver, Eric Nana Nipa, who he says is simply doing his work. Deputy AG Godfred Yeboah-Dami, in response to the accusation, advised the defunct bank's lawyers to address the court appropriately with the relevant transcript of the interview if he feels aggrieved. He argued he owes the duty to educate the public on the matter, which he did without exceeding his boundaries. Justice Benin agreed with the Deputy AG that such a concern must be appropriately raised. He, however, advised the Deputy AG to refrain from such commentary as much as possible, even though he says he did not find anything wrong with the commentary. Mr. Nipa then mounted a witness box for the cross-examination that lasted 2 hours. Mr. Dami suggested to the receiver that 1 year after the bank had bought the properties from Mr. Woyeme, it granted him a loan using the same as collateral. Mr. Nipa, who was shown documents backing the loan agreement, disagreed. He explained the loan documents made a vague reference to 2 properties at Trazako Valley Estate, which in his opinion couldn't be the same as what the bank acquired. The Deputy AG pressed further whether the receiver was aware of any other property beyond the 2 the bank claimed to own as belonging to Mr. Woyeme at Trazako Estates. Mr. Nipa responded that they were still investigating the matter and were yet to conclusively identify any. Hearing of the case was adjourned to October 26.
One person has been confirmed dead in the collapse of a shopping complex at Legon here in Accra. 6 others sustained injuries in the incident, which happened during work to add more floors to the multi-story structure. The Accra Regional Command of the Ghana National Fire Service blamed negligence on the part of the contractors. Emmanuel Jivenu was at the scene in our reports.
This was the scene when Joy News arrived at the Legon Mall. Workers were being evacuated from the building after part of the extension collapsed. The deceased was identified as Fabulous, a construction worker. The 6 others who were injured, also construction workers, are receiving medical attention at the Legon Hospital and the 37 Military Hospital. Greater Accra Regional Fire Officer Ebenezer Simpson spoke to Joy News about the incident.
First, we noticed that there is an extension being carried out behind Legon Mall. There's an extension, construction work, and we realized that a beam of about 10 meters being supported by 3 columns had collapsed. Actually, we saw them down on the ground. This happened on the 6th floor of the part under construction. Yeah, then we later learned that some people were hurt and had been conveyed to Legon Hospital. So we rushed down to Legon Hospital, where we were told 7 casualties were brought there. Unfortunately, one was dead. 2 had been referred for, I think, scanned and X-ray. At 37, they suffered some degree of injury on parts of the body, especially the legs, and they are being treated. So that is the situation now. We are making effort to get the contractor, but he's nowhere to be found. All his workers have vacated the premises.
So in your preliminary investigations, does that mean it's the negligence of the part of the contractor?
Obviously, something went wrong, because for a beam at that floor to collapse, something might have gone wrong. If they had taken all safety measures in place, this thing wouldn't have happened. If that collapse had happened, the workers should have been protected in a way. But unfortunately, I even hear somebody jumped, but I wasn't there. That is, yes. So I suspect something might have gone wrong over there. That's why we find ourselves in this situation.
The accident scene has since been cordoned off by the police. Managers of the facility have remained tight-lipped. They, however, posted notices on the building informing customers of the temporary closure of the mall.
President Akufo-Addo has charged the Commissioner General of the Ghana Revenue Authority to take full advantage of the common platform for monitoring the traffic of the country's mobile network operators and roll out innovative ways to broaden the tax net. Commissioning the platform at the NTA Tower in Accra Monday afternoon, the President also urged the network operators to comply by connecting to ensure government gets the revenue due it. The commissioning, according to the president, marks a major milestone in his administration's quest to digitize Ghana. Latif Idris reports.
The common platform will provide services to both the National Communication Authority and the Ghana Revenue Authority as envisaged by the Communication Service Tax Amendment Act 2013, Act 864. It will also, to a large extent, equip the Ghana Revenue Authority to monitor real-time electronic traffic from mobile network operators. The agreement between the Finance and Communication Ministries and NCA on one hand and Kelny GVG on the other has over the past few months been embroiled in controversy, with some seeking to use the courts to frustrate the process. Key amongst the concerns was the fact that the government was committing nearly $200 million over the next 5 years to validate revenue that may not come to that much. President Akufo-Addo, despite the concerns, went ahead to launch the platform on Monday.
As we commission these two essential facilities, I'm charging the Commissioner General of the Ghana Revenue Authority through the Minister of Finance to continue to develop and roll out new and innovative ways to broaden Ghana's tax net. Ladies and gentlemen, we are in a hurry to move this country forward. We have marked time for far too long. The time to realize the dreams and aspirations of our forebears in building a progressive and prosperous nation is long overdue.
The Director General of National Communication Authority, Joseph Anochi, says the common platform would go a long way to secure the country's cyberspace.
With advancements in technology and government digitization agenda, it has become even more important than ever for us to secure our cyberspace and to ensure that goals that we have set for ourselves as a country are not derailed by unscrupulous entities within the cyberspace.
The Communication Minister, Ursula Owusu-Ekufu, who has over the period justified the agreement with Kelny GVG, warned the telecommunication networks they could face sanctions in the next 48 hours.
The regulator, NCA, and the Ghana Revenue Authority are very interested in how that service also impacts on the tax revenues due to the state, and have procured this common platform to assist in providing them with the information they need on this area of telecoms activity as well. I urge all mobile network operators to cooperate with the NCA and GRA and Kelny GVG and provide the information they need to monitor mobile money as well. Failure to do so within the next 48 hours will result in the imposition of prescribed by Act 864.
It, however, emerged during the President tour of the NCA Tower after the launch that all the telcos have connected to the platform.
As we speak, all the 4 mobile networks are connected to all the 4 mobile networks. We are able to see in real traffic that comes in, the 6 cents per minute that government earns. Because a straight line calculation, every minute is 6 cents accruing to government, and we can see that traffic in real time.
Government says it expects at least a 20% increase in tax revenues from the sector, as has been witnessed in other jurisdictions where this platform operates.
Now, persons living with disability have complained about the failure of the country's laws to adequately protect them from sexual exploitation. Speaking at a forum to collate their views about the National Youth Policy, a number of them spoke about how it has become commonplace for able-bodied persons to go scot-free after taking advantage of PWDs. National Vice President of the Ghana Federation of Disability Organizations, Maunyo Yako Jagba, says persons living with disability have not benefited from the policy because they were not consulted during its implementation. A report by Philip Ankra.
Several of the participants cited instances where persons living with disability have been exploited and left to their fate, and asked for the laws to be tightened to hold such persons accountable.
Government should enact a law that will protect the women who go through abuse, sexual abuse. Especially persons with disabilities. Already we are vulnerable, and based on our vulnerability, we fall into several traps.
The National Youth Policy is intended to provide guidelines for all stakeholders involved in the implementation of policies, programs, and projects for the development of the youth. It is also intended to help the country demonstrate its commitment to all international conventions and charters it has signed relating to the youth. But National Vice President of the Ghana Federation of Disability Organizations, Maunyo Yako Dagba, is not impressed.
In 2010, I will not say that there was wide consultations on that. So it lacked the issues that that affect us. The provisions in there were insufficient. You understand? Because sometimes you might think that you know what the other person needs, so you might provide something. Unfortunately, unless you consult because disability, there are various categories of disability. So many, and everybody has his or her their needs.
Chief Executive Officer of the National Youth Authority, Emmanuel Asigri, said issues with youth development should not be limited to able-bodied persons.
Issues to do with youth development, it's not limited to people who are able persons. It has to cut across everyone in this country. And so with young people who have a challenge, if we are looking at probably putting in programs for them, we should be able to have that at the back of our minds.
Some persons with disability also called on government to review the education syllabus as it does not favor them in its current form. Philip Ankras report for Joy News.
Now, their homes are flooded by spill waters every time the Ghana Water Company opens a Wager Dam to get rid of excess water. Properties are destroyed and lives lost. But residents in and around Wager Down, Botiano, Tetegu, among others, are demanding concrete action to address the issue rather than the notice from the water company to them to relocate. Earlier on Monday, scores of residents, including school children, were trapped in their homes while others were ferried across by their parents. Komla Adom was at Wager Down and filed the following report.
You can see in your shots, there is a school child who is being, taken on the back of her mother just so they could be able to cross this flooded area to make their way to school. Now, every other time, family, for how are you managing them? Are they all in there still in the water?
But my trauma so managing something book on what bed so away inside your bedroom, your kitchen, bibia unconveys was often just in answer. I use you.
So he says his children are also trapped in there. So he was actually just moving out of this place to go and find some food for them to eat, and they've been given a higher ground to step on. So I'm going to speak to the lady who is currently making her way here with her child. I want to imagine, and the water is almost on her knee level. Maybe say we need to say why busy or no bad in school, but how serious is the situation? How serious is it?
It's only there. It's say a inside though. A kitchen.
Okay.
Any a bathhouse.
Now, many of the people Makasane say or more mumano are inside the rooms. They cannot cross over like the way you are doing with your child. Now, I don't know all the The dam is spilled every time. Our homes have all been flooded. If I do not carry him to school this way, he wouldn't be able to go to school. But every other time, I won't be a dam. Someone said they be a movie dam. No, in Sionabeba modem. I didn't still must go to area.
Saying all the time, so no movie. Or movie, where will be maybe 4 years and a 5 years time on baby.
Namunyamana says, no way. How are you doing?
I'm doing good.
So how you are going to school in this condition? I know many of your mates are not going to come to school because their areas and their homes are also flooded.
Yes.
Okay. Have a nice day in school. So that was one of the pupils and many other children, trying to make their way from one end, to the other side. There are two children I see in my picture who are also making it from all the way there to the. Now, maybe I'm going to
Uncle be so be some more hon.
And a man named Sunny Free Tree Hoton.
If you say,
sir, not one way.
Menanati.
Okay, Inti Moonsro say in sure you are more nancy free a tree hot san besia kohano. Ebia and soon be famana bibia.
Yes, sir.
Musro, bad and mufim.
As I'm quite make us him what dear.
Inti dip matna ha check akra.
But I don't have Japan.
Now every time mutna ham who saying neba.
They be and sure never.
Okay, Ruth and Mommy, they've been sent on an errand, so they are making their way to wherever they've been sent to, and they've had to move through the water just so they can be able to go to the other end of the street. From me here at Weja Down, reporting for Joy News, I am Komla Adom.
Well, a member of parliament for the Weja area, Tina Mensah, is calling for concrete action from stakeholders to address the perennial spillage challenges. She spoke to the press after touring some affected areas.
The residents, they have built there already. So you cannot tell them, quit, just quit. They know they have to quit. They know the problem there already. And then they have built there. And you always tell them to quit. When there is water, there's a spillage of the water, they will try to move. But after that, they come back again. So what are we also doing? It is two ways. They are not moving. What can we also do to help alleviate that challenge? We should sit together, all stakeholders, the waterways, the highways, the assembly, myself, Nadimu. We should do something concrete to alleviate the challenge. Oh, this year is already gone, but we will start the initiation from this year, so that maybe early part of next year, then we can do something. But we will start it from now, so that we will come together and solve the problem. When Alajo, people were complaining, Alajo, when it rains, and the people, they were flooding all over the place, people are being swept over with the water and all those things. It took the news to bring it out and be making this news, and then the government went to their aid. We are also asking and appealing to the government. When I say the government, I'm talking about the institutions that are responsible for it, for us to sit together and then tackle it once and for all. But I will also urge my constituents that when you are like this, they are all hearing it. When the place is dry a little bit, then they go and buy lands there and they build there. I wonder how they managed to live, because we were there. And come and see, some houses emerged in the water, submerged in the water. So I ask, where are their things? And they have moved to other homes, staying there. Immediately, the water capsized, they will come back there again.